What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Unparalleled Universe for another action figure review, and today we're taking a look at the brand new Mafex X-Force Deadpool. And I've been really looking forward to this figure because I never picked up the first Mafex Deadpool. I missed out on the pre-order and I was never able to track it down for a good price, so unfortunately, I don't have it. Hopefully one of these days I could get my hands on it, but if I never do, I'm happy to have this version from Mafex, because Uncanny X-Force is one of my favorite X-Men books. If you've never checked it out, I strongly suggest you do, especially if you're a Deadpool fan, because in my opinion, the way that Rick Remender wrote Deadpool is the best version of the character. He absolutely killed it. It's an amazing book. Be sure to check it out if you haven't already. Uncanny X-Force by Rick Remender. It's some awesome stuff. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get into the figure, starting off with the box. Through the window, you are able to see Wade along with the accessories. Down here, we get a look at the figure. It says Deadpool, Marvel, Mafex, X-Force, all that good stuff. Just like a lot of other Mafex boxes, we have like a comic book theme going on over here with like the numbering. It says Marvel. We get some comic book artwork. I think that's awesome. On the side of the box, we get a look at the figure. It says Deadpool, X-Force. On the back, we get a look at Deadpool doing his thing along with all the accessories and stuff. On this side, we get another look at the figure and some artwork. And that's about it for the packaging. It's collector friendly and all that good stuff. It's pretty small. It's easy to store. You could keep the accessories in there and it doesn't take up too much space. So yeah, I'm a big fan of the boxes from Mafex. But enough about the pretty box. Let's go ahead and get Deadpool out and take a look. So in recent weeks, Mafex have hit us with an avalanche of releases. They put out so many figures over the past 2 or 3 weeks. I think they've had like 7 releases or something crazy like that. And all of them have been pretty good, or all the ones that I've played with have been pretty damn awesome. But I've got to say, I think that Deadpool just might be the best of the bunch. Or at least he's my favorite. I think they did a great job on it. I don't have Magneto yet, and I don't have Steel. Both of those figures look incredible. But as far as like the ones that I've actually touched and played with, Deadpool is like the best one, man. They really killed it on this figure. I love the way that he looks. The paint is very clean. It's very well sculpted. All the joints felt really nice right out of the box. I didn't have to do the usual things I have to do with Mafex, like add oil and things like that. All the joints just felt good right away. I was able to take them out of the box and play with them without any of the joints feeling too tight or like they're going to snap or anything like that. So that is always nice. And yeah, the figure does have like a premium high quality feel for sure. Look at that. This guy came out amazing. I was really happy to see the paint was very clean on him. And he just looks good. Looks good and feels good right out of the box. So yeah, man, I am very happy with it. But let's go ahead and get in close and take a look at all the awesome detail work on him. And Deadpool is definitely one of the cleanest Mafex figures in regards to paint. Everything looks really well done. The paint is crisp and nice, and it looks very good. And I think that's one area that Mafex really needs to improve on, you know, because as much as I like their figures, there are some times where like the paintwork is pretty sloppy on it. And it's not like over the top sloppy or anything like that. But, you know, for the price, I really think they need to clean it up, and they definitely have to step their game up in that department. Otherwise, their figures are damn near perfect most of the time. But then, you know, you have some cases where the paint isn't as clean as it should be. But thankfully, Deadpool doesn't have to worry about that. He looks really good. But taking a look at the details, starting off with the head sculpt, I really love the design of the Uncanny X-Force Deadpool mask. I like how the red eyes look against the black around the eyes, and then I like how the black looks next to the gray. It all has some really nice contrast. And they did a great job sculpting this. As you could see, we have this piping that surrounds the eye, and then it kind of goes over the top of the head. And I like how we could see some facial details under the mask. You could see the nose and a little bit of the mouth, and then you could see the ear on the side of the head. So yeah, that looks really good. That's a great looking head sculpt. And then moving down into the body, at the neck here, he does have like a loose collar piece. And I don't know, I kind of wish that was secured down. I don't think I'm going to glue it or anything, but it gets a little annoying because when you're moving the figure, it kind of moves with his neck. I don't know, maybe I will glue it down. We'll see. But it looks good, so that's cool. And then he does have these straps with the X logo. Look at that. Boom. Probably rocks that with pride. Very nice. You know he's happy to officially be a part of an X-Men team here. But I love the way the straps look, and they are loose, so they just kind of float around. But they're on there tight enough that, you know, they don't float around so much so that they're like annoying, you know. So they did a good job finding that balance. And then we do have the swords in the sheaths back here, and these look really good too. But yeah, as you can see, the paint looks really nice. And, you know, all the details are sculpted. I think that's why they have problems sometimes, you know, because they sculpt everything and then they try to match the paint right to the sculpt and it gets a little crazy. But as you can see on Deadpool, it all looks really good. I had one area here where it could have been a little cleaner. But aside from that, I think it mostly looks good. Then we have another X logo here on the belt. And I love the way that red looks against the rest of the costume. We have some pouches on the side. There we go. Yeah, everything looks really good on this, man. Pouches on the legs. Clean paintwork. Yeah, the figure just looks really clean. I like how they put these wrist guards on here and they just perfectly cover up the wrist joint. And they don't get in the way of the articulation too much, so that's nice. But yeah, this is a really, really great looking figure. And I'm happy to see that, you know, there are no paint issues, nothing. It just looks very clean and very well done. Beautifully sculpted. It's a great looking Deadpool figure of one of my favorite Deadpool costumes. So yeah, Mafex definitely killed it. Unfortunately, Deadpool doesn't come with any guns or anything, but thankfully he does come with a bunch of other cool accessories, including hella hands. We get a pair of fists, we have a set of pointer fingers, a set of relaxed hands, we have a pair of flat open hands, we have a set of hands that could be used to hold on to the swords that he comes with, and then we get a pair of thumbs up hands, and then finally we do get a set of gun gripping hands, so you could get guns from other brands, and Deadpool's pretty compatible with those. Here's a quick example of him holding some guns from Valaverse, and I think these work really well for Deadpool, so he's probably going to hold on to these. And on top of the head that we've already looked at, he does come with 3 additional head sculpts. 2 of them are very similar to each other. Like, I think the only difference here is that the eyes are slightly different in size, and then you could kind of see that, like, the facial expressions underneath the masks look a little different. One of them looks a little bit more angry, but these 2 heads are pretty similar. But the last head sculpt is way different than the rest. He has like the wide eyes, and I think this head sculpt is awesome. I love the way the big red eyes look, and this is probably my favorite head sculpt that the figure comes with. And Deadpool's swords came out really nice. As you could see, the blade has a cool metallic look to it. There's not a whole lot going on with the handle, but I think these look really good. And I like what they did here because in order to get him to hold on to these things, you have to remove this little piece at the bottom. And then you're able to slide it into the gripping hand. And that allows for a much tighter, natural grip on the sword. And you don't have to worry about stretching the hands out, trying to get the swords in and out of the hands, you know. So I think that is a really cool way to do it. I always like when it's done that way. And the swords are not able to go into the sheaths on his back. Instead, he just has like the sword handle hilt piece that, you know, that slides in there. So if you want to make it look like he has the swords in his hands, you just remove these and then you're good to go. I mean, I think this is a cool way to do it and everything, but I think I prefer just having the swords, you know, able to like go in and out of the sheaths. But, you know, either way works. So even though he doesn't come with a bunch of guns, I do like the amount of accessories that he came with. It's always fun to get all those different sets of hands. I like the multiple heads. I do wish the 2 heads that were pretty similar to each other were a little bit more different. But aside from that, I'm pretty happy with the accessories. Oh, you know what they could have thrown in there? A half-masked Deadpool head or an unmasked Deadpool head. I think that would have been great. But I am happy with what's here. And then for some quick size comparisons, here we have Deadpool alongside the Mafex X-Force Wolverine, and I do hope to be doing a review of him pretty soon. We'll see if I'm able to get to that. On the opposite side, we have the Marvel Legends X-Force Wolverine, but this one has a custom head sculpt from Casting Cave. Shout out to Corey. He killed it on that. But yeah, I was really surprised to see how small the Marvel Legends Wolverine is compared to the Mafex X-Force stuff. I still think it works because, you know, Wolverine is supposed to be a short guy, but I didn't think it would be that short in comparison. But I do think that the Mafex Deadpool and the Mafex Wolverine look really good together. And then next up, we have him alongside the Marvel Legends X-Force Warpath and the Marvel Legends X-Force Phantom X. But this Phantom X has a custom jacket from Rebel 10 Customs. She absolutely killed it on that and made that figure so much better. But yeah, both of these characters are in desperate need of an upgrade. I would love to see Marvel Legends do a new X-Force Warpath because this version right here is outdated and it's super rare. So it's hard for people to to get him to complete their X-Force sets. And, this Phantom X is okay. It's definitely better with the jacket, but I just don't know if I like him on the Bucky Cap body. So it'd be cool to see them revisit him, maybe with the Vulcan body or something. I don't know. But I would love to see Mafex tackle both of these characters more so than the Marvel Legends versions. I would take either ones, honestly. But I've never seen Mafex do a bigger character like Warpath. So I'd be interested in seeing that. I know they have Bane coming up, so it's within their capabilities. But I think they would absolutely kill it with Phantom X. Just judging by how good they made the Gambit figure, I'm absolutely convinced that they would do an awesome job on Phantom X. And I would love the X-Force version and the all-white version. Mafex should jump on that. That would be amazing. But I would really like an X-Force Domino from Mafex too. That'd be awesome. And you know what? I just realized something as I was kind of switching around these X-Force characters. A lot of these characters weren't necessarily on the same teams, but the outfits kind of match. So I kind of forget that. Like, I don't think Domino was on Uncanny X-Force along with Psylocke, and Warpath wasn't on X-Force along with Phantom X. But those two teams kind of bleed together in my mind because a lot of the members are the same, like, Wolverine and Archangel and all that. So there's a couple of crossover members, but the outfits are very similar. And in my mind, those are two of my favorite X-Force runs, to be honest with you. So they kind of bleed in. They bleed together in my mind, and they kind of, one led to the other. So anyways, I just kind of thought about that when I was mixing up all these figures. But yeah, all these figures in these outfits look amazing together on the shelf. That's for sure. And then next up, we have them alongside the Mezco 112 Collective X-Force Deadpool and Wolverine. And then here he is alongside the Revoltech Deadpool version 2 and the Marvel Legends Deadpool from the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure wave. As of right now, these two are two of my favorite Deadpool figures. I don't have the Figma version, and I do not have the original Mafex one. So, if I had those, maybe things will be different. But as it stands, these two are my favorite Deadpools. But now, this new X-Force version for Mafex is going to be by far my favorite Deadpool. This thing is amazing. I still love these other two. But as far as my favorite Deadpool figure goes, I think this Mafex version is going to take the crown. And then next up, we have him alongside the Mafex X-Factor Cyclops and the Marvel Legends Animated Series Cyclops. And just to get away from Marvel for just a second, here we have him alongside the Mafex Hush Nightwing and the G.I. Joe Classified Storm Shadow. And then last but not least, of course, here we have him alongside the Marvel Legends Pizza Spider-Man and Marvel Legends Bucky Cap. And Deadpool does have all of that amazing articulation that we're used to seeing on Mafex figures. So there's not a whole lot of surprises here. It's all very familiar, but it's everything that you need in a Deadpool figure. He's got a lot of great points of articulation. All the joints have really nice range, and I'm really happy with what they did with the articulation on Deadpool and pretty much on all their figures. They always do a great job with the articulation. But let's go ahead and see what we have going on starting off at the head. He does have movement at the upper neck and at the lower neck, like usual. So we get some really nice tilt side to side. And then he could look up to about right there, which is pretty nice. The collar kind of shifts around when you move the head around, but there we go. Then he could look down to about right there. So that's good. And then obviously he could look side to side. So really good stuff at the head and the neck. Let's get his collar back down. That's going to annoy me. There we go. And then for the torso, he does have a ball joint here at the diaphragm and a ball joint at the waist. So using both of those, we get some nice crunch forward. Ooh, look at that. Oh, that's pretty good. I feel like you could get maybe just a little bit more. Oh yeah, that's not bad at all. Using both of those together, we get some really good range. And then he can go back to about right there. The sword sheaths don't really get in the way since the straps aren't attached. They just kind of move out of the way, so that's nice. But yeah, look how far back it bends. That's crazy. And then we get some nice side to side. The belt kind of gets in the way, but just like the straps, they just, it's a floating piece, so it moves. But that side movement is really nice too. And yeah, like I always say, I love the diaphragms and the torso setups on Mafex figures. And then he can spin at the waist and a little bit at the diaphragm, although it is a little bit tight. But, there you go. You have some options. And then for the arms, he does have that awesome butterfly type of joint that we like to see on Mafex figures. I feel like it doesn't come out as much as I've seen on some recent Mafex figures, but you still get everything that you need out of it. You could get his arms to go back a really nice amount. Then you could get his arms in front of him a really nice amount for those awesome punching poses. Boom. You know, we always got to do that. Yeah, look at that. Get his arm in front of him a really nice amount. So yeah, pretty good stuff there. And I love the Mafex shoulders too. I like how they kind of shift around and stuff, and you could just do different things with them. They don't get quite as much range as like a full-on butterfly joint, but I do like getting that up and down in the place of you know, the full-on butterfly joint. So that's cool. It's good either way, really. But I like what we have going on here. And then the arms do go all the way around. And then he does have upper bicep swivel. He has a double jointed elbow, but it doesn't get the most bend. It bends to right there, which, you know, that's enough, but I wish he got a little bit more. Then he does have a ball joint at the waist. I mean, at the waist. Well, he does, but I meant to say he has a ball joint at the wrist. So we get a little bit of hinge, and then you could spin the hand, and, you know, there you go. Get it into all kinds of different directions. So good stuff on the upper body as far as the arms and the torso and the head and the neck go. And then for the legs, he does have drop down hips. And you can bring his leg forward to about right there, which is pretty good. Maybe able to get it to go a little bit more, actually. Yeah, there we go. That's not bad at all. And then he could kick out to the side. Damn. Kick out to the side a really nice amount. There we go. That'll work for sure. Can't really go back all that much because, you know, his butt kind of gets in the way. And you are able to swivel the upper leg on the ball joint there, but it doesn't get a whole lot of range. But still, pretty good amount. Yeah, that's definitely enough. I wish it got a little bit more, actually, but I could definitely live with that. And then he does have, let me get him situated. There we go. He does have double jointed knees. Boom. They get a pretty good bend, but again, just like the elbow, I feel like I wish we could have got a little bit more out of that. But still enough to do your thing. And then he does have a ball joint at the ankle that swivels around, and then the foot does rock on the ball joint there. There's a hinge, so his foot could go forward to right there, come up to right there. Then he does have a toe hinge, which is really, there's some good tension in there, you know, so it'll definitely hold him. So that's nice. So yeah, man, like I said, really nice articulation on this guy. There are some joints that I wish got just a little bit more range, but, you know, nothing that could really be considered bad whatsoever. Everything works really well. And like I said, the figure's a whole lot of fun to pose around and play with, and he just looks amazing. They do a great job of incorporating the joints into the design and making it so nothing stands out or looks too ugly, but everything is still functional and a whole lot of like fun to use and play with, you know. So as always, really nice articulation on this guy, and again, I'm having a whole lot of fun playing around with it. I don't know what that weird ass pose was, but yeah, some awesome stuff right here. Alrighty, so overall, at the end of the day, when the smoke clears, the dust settles, and it's all said and done, once again, not surprisingly, Mafex absolutely killed it. They did such a great job on Deadpool. It's pretty much like the perfect Uncanny X-Force Deadpool in my opinion. He's got everything that I want. It looks amazing. It's very well sculpted. Some really nice detail. The paint is very clean and extremely well done. The articulation is nice. I do wish that the knees and the elbows got a little bit more range, but aside from that, I'm completely happy with the articulation, and I'm having a whole lot of fun playing around with this figure, posing him up, making him look badass. And right out of the box, the figure felt really good. All the joints moved smoothly and everything was really nice, except for after a while, like after I was playing with the figure for a little bit, the torso joint started to get a little tight. So I did end up dropping just a drop of oil in each one of those joints just to free it up. I probably didn't have to, but I didn't want to have to worry about it because when I would try to turn it and bend it forward, it just felt a little too tight. So I just wanted to do it just to be safe, and it worked out fine. But aside from that, everything else felt really, really nice right out of the box. Didn't have to do anything to any of the other joints. As far as the accessories go, unfortunately, he doesn't come with any guns. I'm not sure what's up with that, but thankfully he does come with a lot of other cool stuff. He's got a bunch of different hands, which is always nice, and a few different heads. So I do appreciate that stuff. And, you know, I think they did a good job with it. Mafex continues to be one of my favorite action figure companies, and they continue to give us the best possible comic book figures available. They always kill it. There's very few Mafex figures that I wasn't extremely happy with. Most of the time, I love what they have going on, and I'm just so happy they did a good job on this version of Deadpool. Now what they need to do is do an X-Force Warpath, X-Force Archangel, X-Force Psylocke, X-Force X-23, X-Force Phantom X, X-Force Elixir, X-Force Wolfsbane, everybody. I'm down for both teams. Uncanny X-Force and the X-Force team that came before that. If you haven't read those comics, be sure to do so because both of those runs are awesome. They're some of my favorite X-Men comics. A lot of people talk crazy about Uncanny X-Force, and, you know, it deserves it. It's a great book. It's regarded as a classic, and most people know that book. But I feel like people kind of sleep on the X-Force run that came right before that. I happen to have the hardcover right here because I love this book. But I strongly suggest you check this one out too, because this is kind of where that whole concept for like the Strike Force team of X-Force came about. Cyclops was fucking tripping, so it was pretty dope. But yeah, be sure to check out this book. Check out Uncanny X-Force. There's some really dope comics surrounding these versions of the characters. And you know, you definitely got to check those out so you could get some more appreciation out of the figures themselves. But yeah, man, this figure makes me very, very happy. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Also, be sure to hit the bell notification so you know every time that I go live. Thank you very much. Peace.